All right, everyone, we are here with the second, third, what are we on here?
Fourth.
The fourth episode of Under the Radar.
Yes. Hey,
Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Hey, guys.
Thank you.
How you doing? Welcome, guys. I'm Randy Younger, your host of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. And I just want to say at the top of the show that yesterday I had the great fortune of attending a great event in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It was the Spoons, Tunes, and Booze event, which I believe is still going on right as we speak. It's a two-part event. Every couple of months, Saturdays and Sundays, they show old cartoons from like the 80s and 90s, and they actually have a cereal buffet, all the flavors you want. You got milk, and they actually do cocktails as well, mostly with Kahlua and milk-inspired cocktails like that. It's a very good event. It's a lot of fun, and yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it is. It's delicious, and it's a great time. So that's at the Nighthawk Cinema in Williamsburg. So guys, check it out if you have a chance. It's a great event. I want to thank Michael Austin for putting it together and for inviting me. That was great. Thanks, Michael. So yeah, guys, sorry we're a little bit late today. We hit a bit of traffic, but better late than never. We're going to talk to an independent filmmaker and an actress who are sitting right here. We've got...
Hi, everybody.
This is J. Samuel Ryan,
Hey.
Independent filmmaker extraordinaire. He's
Award-winning independent.
Award-winning,
filmmaker.
excuse me, yes.
Yeah.
And one of his actresses, Alejita.
Right, Jacobs. Nice
Sorry,
name.
yes, Josh. Welcome, guys. Thanks so much for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your films.
Well, I currently have two finished works, and the third one is currently being edited. My first movie is called An Inconvenient Ruth. Not Truth, Al Gore. Ruth. It's my movie.
Yes.
And basically, I'm the director, the producer, the writer, the editor, and I'm also one of the actors in the movie as well.
That's great. How do you juggle all that?
Persistence.
Yeah. Okay.
To say the least, but to elaborate, it's really just about actual events in one's life that really push that persistence. Because, you know, I graduated from Queens College in 2014. I got a bachelor's degree in media studies, and I graduated with a 3.4 GPA.
Okay.
And to give a little bit of a backstory that'll lead to the movie, I'll indicate that in my younger years, I was not your typical high school student. I was one of those struggling high school students, which I guess is relatable to everyone. Sure. But yeah, basically I graduated in 2002. Did not think I was college material, so I just let that go by me. And so I was just working, just trying to build myself up, trying to find myself in the world. And after 6 years of working various retail jobs that changed throughout time, I realized that this could be as good as it'll get for me if I don't make any changes in my life. So life experience gave me the proper motivation to give college a try. So I enrolled into LaGuardia Community College in 2008. And I didn't consider film at that time. I was actually thinking of paralegal, believe it or not, at the time. I thought maybe I can become a court reporter, because if there's any running theme I've noticed in the jobs I've had, is that I find more progression when I'm doing things on my own, when I'm depending on myself. So I figure if I be a court reporter, I can just depend on myself. So if I screw up, I only have myself to blame.
Okay.
So I took some of the paralegal courses that would lead me to that, and the more I was learning about, the more I said to myself, you know what, this really isn't me, and I don't see myself making a living off of this. Right. So I learned about all the various writing courses that they had at LaGuardia, and during that journey, even when I was looking at the paralegal, I found out that I'm actually very good with writing, and my professors were very impressed with me. Mm-hmm. So that ultimately led to learning about Queens College, and as the journey in LaGuardia continued, I got more advanced. I got more high feedback with the professors with writing, and that eventually led to screenwriting.
Okay.
And so I just took the creative writing course in LaGuardia. I think I got maybe a B plus. Some professors, they see it differently depending on it is. And sometimes you can get graded based on that sometime. Okay. So yeah, I took that, and then I enrolled into Queens College after I graduated from LaGuardia in 2011, still sticking with screenwriting, And when I took the screenwriting class in 2012, I'm hoping my professor's listening because I gave him the link here. I aced this class, and he was very happy with what I was coming up with. I wrote the requirement was to write a 30-page script, basically, which is a one-act script. Mm-hmm. And even after I finished that class, I still kept going with the story. I wrote it during the summer of 2012. And, aside from that, I got an A in the screenwriting class. And this is how it led to filmmaking at this point, which is that I realized that I'm in my head, I'm thinking of the script. I'm envisioning what the story would be as I'm writing it. And I'm thinking, well, if someone else directs this, it's not going to be my vision. Mm-hmm. And I figure if I want to keep the vision alive, I have to be the one to direct this and also eventually produce it. So that's when I decided to, still stick with screenwriting, but also I want to be a filmmaker as well. Okay. So as my remaining years of Queens College came about, I was taking all these film-related courses, and I hope my film professor's watching as well because I tagged her on watching this. And, I still keep in touch with her, and she was liking what I was doing. At that point, I had a little mini camcorder, which I used for some of my projects, more advanced than the college one, I might add. And I was able to get that stuff done. And I took another class where I learned about various software, like Final Cut Pro editing. So that developed my editing career. And as soon as I graduated, I pretty much just got right into it. Just made business cards, printed out, attended the networking events, and to get into the networking events, I met various people, various actors, including Alejita, I might add.
The New York Actors Tweet Up guys.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
That's where I met this guy also.
Right.
Yes.
Alejita, how did you get involved with Jay? I'm very curious about that.
Well, actually, I think I met Jay at...
Richard Oliver's event, the ICP.
Exactly.
All right.
Which was at Tonic. I think it was a place called Tonic in
I
Manhattan.
think it was Van Diemen's bar.
Oh, Van Diemen's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the east side.
Okay.
So kind of Chelsea, right?
Near there, I believe, yeah.
And what have you been in that we might know?
I was in Law and Order.
Really?
I've been
Okay.
in Law and Order at least twice.
Cool.
I was in The Amazing Superman or The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, the movie?
Yes.
Okay, with Andrew Garfield. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually just interviewed Mark Webb a
Oh,
couple weeks ago.
wow.
Yeah. Nice guy.
What a name for
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Right. I don't know.
right, exactly.
I don't know if Sony had that in mind when they had him as the director.
This is an eccentric business. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
That's cool.
Exactly.
So what else?
I was in a lot of things. The Gift, Nurse Jackie.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
The Gift. Oh, really?
Great movie.
Yeah, it was great.
That's what I'm not sure he's there on. Who's the
Katie Holmes.
No. Katie Holmes and the British woman. Oh, her name escapes me. She was in Blue Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? Moving on.
Yeah.
You were on Nurse Jackie? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I was on Nurse Jackie.
Nurse Jackie.
I was on so many different movies.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
many.
great.
They
Yeah.
filmed Nurse Jackie in my neighborhood at the Kaufman Building. They filmed
That's cool.
in and around all that.
Oh yeah,
that place.
Kaufman Studios. Yeah.
Yeah, they even filmed a scene in, I think it was in a season 5 episode, I believe. They filmed in the Most Precious Blood School. They filmed in the cafeteria scene. And I used to go to summer camp there back in the 90s. So I recognized the place as soon as I saw it on the show.
Cool. That's very good. Mm-hmm. So you guys have worked on a few movies now?
Well,
Yeah, 3, right?
Yeah,
Well, I wasn't in Candy. Or was I in Candy?
you're in Canada. You weren't
I was.
Inconvenient
See, I've
Truth.
worked in so many of his movies. I really can't even remember which ones they were.
Well, what
at this
happened
point,
was
but-
that when I first met her at Richard's ICP event, she
Right.
automatically pitched the idea of wanting to do a Lucille Ball type of
Cool.
project. And
Yeah,
so,
Lucy's my middle name.
so yeah, basically that gave me the inspiration to want to write Tyler Nasicateroid because it's based on I Love Lucy Vitamita Vegemite scene.
Right.
And so
Classic
yeah.
scene with the spoon, right?
Unlike the
Exactly.
story
Yeah.
for me.
So yeah, that's how I first met her. She told me about it, and so eventually that just led to the start of this thing. And I think we actually started filming in April, I believe,
Correct.
when my friend Andy was originally going to be
Right.
involved, and like, due to like various scheduling conflicts or whatever, and kind of lack of production, we ended up having to postpone it, and so I put that project on hold for a little bit, and I focused on Inconvenient Ruth first, and so I worked on that, and I edited the movie during that year when I finished filming that, and in October we then resumed the Taiwan Noxicatoroid with recasting my friend Andy, who's in Inconvenient Ruth. He couldn't do the role anymore, so I casted another actor from Inconvenient Ruth, Nick Dre, who I wish could have been here with us because he's a very good actor and such. And he got cast, and Ali gave me a very good location to film our stuff,
Right.
and
Which, by the way, is still available. I know exactly where to go if you need space.
yeah.
There you go.
Well, what makes a movie good, is a production, but also the writing involved. Because one thing I've learned about writing, especially on working in Taiwan Noxicatoroid, is that even if your production is kind of like low in resource, it can all come from the writer's writing and the actor's acting to make it believable as a story. And I won't give away too much on how the look of the movie is with our location, but let's just say that if you're good at writing and acting on these things, you can make anything possible.
That's right.
Where do you get your inspiration? Like, do you have any influences? Any other filmmakers who have influenced your craft?
Well, I don't want to go in the cliche direction of saying that Spielberg and Stanley Kubrick were influences. They're very good filmmakers, don't get me wrong, but they're overrated. And I think, and one of my directions in filmmaking actually is to go into directions that seem a little unprecedented, a little unconventional. Try to be like one of those different types of filmmakers that is new to everything else, and that also includes who my influences are. And one influence I have is on one filmmaker is a guy named Steve Barron, who is mostly known for directing all these famous 80s music videos. Like he worked with Bryan Adams, and he did the Heaven song, and he also worked with Paul McCartney, I believe, and he also worked with Madonna, and also with the Dire Straits. He directed that 80s video, Money for Nothing. Had like very, very, very low budget computer animation on there. And the reason why he's an influence is pretty much based on the movies that he made in the 90s. He made the first live-action Ninja Turtles movie. Not this Michael Bay version. Don't get that mixed up. I mean the early 90s version.
1990.
Yes.
Sam Rockwell was in it, too.
Yes.
Young Sam Rockwell.
It was very, very ambitious and very low-budgeted compared to movies today. Not low-budget as in it was poorly made, but... it was people in costumes, kind of like the way how they do like those Japanese Godzilla movies type of thing, and animatronic heads. Yeah. And he also made the movie Coneheads, so he covered the SNL genre in a way. And the reason why I consider him to be one of my influences is because he gets the concept of being creative and trying to keep it entertaining. Right. So he's one of those people. And one person that's also become an influence of mine recently, pretty much as like an icon as a general person, is a former singer named Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics. Okay. She has this very political and philosophical structure. She's a punk rock musician. May she rest in peace. She passed away in 1998. She killed herself, unfortunately. But I feel that performers like Britney and Lady Gaga and Madonna, they would not be where they are today if it wasn't for Wendy. She is an iconic person, and one of my film goals is to one day make a biographical movie about her, just to let her know how much of an influence she is as a person.
The Plasmatics.
Yeah, it's an 80s punk group. They disassembled in the 90s when Wendy quit music, but during that time she was like the queen of punk rock. That was one of her dubbing names.
Yeah, I'd love to see that movie. That sounds fascinating.
I think this is something that maybe MTV would have to back me up on, because if I eventually get into the mainstream direction, I definitely want to make that possible, Okay. I mean, Gene Simmons produced her very first solo album in the mid 80s, so I think he should also be involved in producing a movie like that. Because I feel like he's one of the birth of the solo success of Wendy,
Okay, cool.
And Gene is also an influence of mine as well, because I like his rebellious side. Combine him and Howard Stern, and I'm all set to go, because it's like they kind of look alike with the long hair and the sunglasses in a way. But yeah, I like their iconic imagery and their rebellious and their independence, and you know what? You can just tell just by looking at them, let alone watching them in interviews or performances or whatever, that that they did not need to have someone tell them to become what they want to become. They came up with it from scratch. You know,
Awesome.
I mean,
individualism. It's great.
Without individualism, you're just a slave to the paycheck. And you know what? I already work a day job. Why do I have to bring it to my career? You know?
Exactly.
So, how about you? Any actors, actresses who have inspired you to get into the acting game?
Well, you know, I was going to tell you about Charlize Theron.
Okay.
Because she's actually my favorite actress.
Okay.
Right?
What was some of the things she's been in?
Oh, well, she's in one presently.
Okay.
Right? And I can't remember anything else that she's been in right now.
Okay.
But I like her
Is she in
because...
Monster?
Yeah, she's in Monster.
That's great.
Oh, great movie.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And she's in a lot of other stuff, too. But I
Charlize
basically
Theron.
like her because her style has been so... disciplined in singing and in acting.
Okay.
Like she went to school in Spain and she learned how to do flamenco dancing there.
Cool.
So I'm a singer, a dancer, and an actress as well.
Okay.
Right, and I grew up like being in girl bands and in all kinds of dancing and singing.
Okay.
And she had that same kind of training, except like 3 times more discipline than I had.
Okay.
You know, and she is like a fantastic actress, I believe, because of that reason. And that's how come I really like Charlize Theron.
And she's a triple threat. Like, she's doing it all.
Exactly.
Performance-wise.
You need to do everything. I mean,
Yeah.
One thing I've even said in past interviews as well is that if you're going to make a career in this business, let alone bring it to Hollywood or whatever, you got to have more than one skill. You can't just go into this business with just one skill and expect to be a sensation. Because you know what? Even in the case of holding on to like a day job to earn your living and pay your rent and, you know, put gas in your car or whatever, you got to make sure that you stand out in a different way. I mean, this is even bringing back to individuality. You know, that's just one piece of the puzzle. You got to put many pieces together.
Right.
And one thing I feel I'm lucky about is with my movies is that even though the influence of making them was because I couldn't really depend on a lot of people because they didn't bring the proper structure involved, I feel that labeling myself as a director, producer, writer, etc., it gives me the advantage of having people see that if you want to hire me for at least one of those things, then I know I can do it because I pulled this off, and both of my movies have currently won awards.
So writer, director, editor,
producer,
and you act as well.
Well, the good thing about me with acting is that I have no acting experience, no acting background whatsoever. You know, so if anyone wants me at acting, just like a background extra, I don't see why I can't handle that. But you know what? If people like my acting, I appreciate it, but there was no prior training whatsoever on there. So I'm flattered that people like my acting. And in Inconvenient Ruth, I dressed as an Elvis impersonator in that movie. And in fact, that whole scene was actually shaped around that because in 2013, I went to a Halloween party and I had the Elvis costume and I won. Actually, one of my actors in that movie, Eric Silverman, he was one of the hosts of that party, and so he saw me in the Elvis costume before anyone on the screen saw me in it. So
that's cool.
So you know, acting, you like it, you don't like it, I'm okay with it. Acknowledge me as a director, producer, and a writer, please.
Yes, and I should let you guys know I actually worked on one of his films, a new film that's in post-production, I think.
Yeah, I filmed. The movie's called Candy, and we're hitting almost a year since I filmed it, and it really is amazing that not only with Randy and Alejita being a part of that, but it really is amazing to see how many people have caught interest in this, even if it's just like a one-line voiceover, which is what they both did, and it's played by one live-action actress. It really is amazing to see how many people caught interest. In total, if you include me and my mother, I might add, there's about 25 voice actors involved in it. And you know what? They all will play a fundamental role in the movie once it's done.
Yeah, it was fun to work on it. It was just one line, but it was a blast.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes one line can actually represent the quality of show business where, this is something I also encourage people. You can make 1 billion movies and still not get known, but you can make one movie and you can practically get a star on the Walk of Fame. You know, it's about quality, people, not quantity.
That's right.
Make a note of that.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
I mean, look at me. I make one movie, an Inconvenient Ruth at the time, and currently it has 6 awards to its name. 6 awards.
Yeah.
Talenasa Cataway, it's hitting almost about a year and a half since it was fully edited and released in there. It has 1 award already.
Okay.
1 award, not as good as Inconvenient Ruth, but you know what? some movies don't even get screened, let alone get an award. So you know what? I'm proud of that. It's an honorable mention award in Canada.
So proud that you even brought a few of them with you today,
Yeah,
right?
and I'll bring it to you right now.
All right.
Well,
It's not just a radio show, guys. We got some visual
Nice.
action.
we got some glitter.
Yeah.
Okay,
Look at
this
this.
will be the first one I'll show you. This is the California Film Awards. I won the Gold Award early this year
This is
for An
gorgeous.
Inconvenient Ruth.
Look at
There
this.
it is. Want to hold it?
Kinda.
You better
Whoa.
be careful, bro.
Wow, it's got some weight to it.
Oh yeah,
It's like
I
10 pounds.
I won that. It was like me and a handful of other people in the Gold Award category that won it, and they liked it.
There you go. Ooh,
Nice,
it's
nice,
shimmering.
shiny.
Wow.
I like that.
I'd like to thank the Academy. No.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of this. I feel like that the more awards that come in, the more advancing my career is going.
That's great, man.
And the next award I'm going to show you.
Show and tell, guys.
This is, I'll show this one last because that's the newest one.
All right.
This one here is the very first award I got in early 2016 from the Mountain Film Festival in Canada, in California, and it was me and two other people who won this award called the Sir Edmund Hillary Award.
Jeez.
Check it
Wow,
out.
look at this one.
Yeah.
Same weight.
Yeah, show it to the camera.
Very cool. Very cool. Guys, see that?
They all the same weight?
Just about, it's like 5 to 10 pounds or so.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I got that at the Mountain Film Festival in, I believe, February of 2016.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I was very proud of this one. And in my mind, I didn't think I was going to get other awards similar to this. I believe in my movies, but, it's not every day you actually are able to make a collection of awards for your movies. You hope that you would, but it's, it's wishful thinking.
That's right.
And this one I would like to add is probably the most noteworthy one because of what I've learned from receiving it from the venue. This is This is the Best Narrative Short Award at the 2017 Alaska Film Awards.
Jeez, look
Wow.
at this thing.
Yeah, that's
Well done.
that's like a crescent or iceberg type of trophy.
Yeah, like an icicle or something, right?
Yeah, and I contacted the venue when I was ordering that trophy. They said that 96 other short films submitted it, and I was the lone winner of that title, Best Narrative Short. For an inconvenient Ruth.
So all three are for Ruth.
All three of them.
That's great.
And the other awards I got were mostly the certificates. I also received a merit award. I think it's called the New York Independent Film Festival, I believe.
Wow.
And
Where did you get contacted by the Spirit Awards? Independent?
well, all these. Well, actually, I did. One award I really want to talk about is the honorable mention award I got at the Cineplay Film Awards back in March. The movie, fortunately for me, not too long after I got the Mountain Film Festival Award, Lorenzo Anderson of Cineplay TV, he picked up An Inconvenient Ruth to put on his channel, cineplaytv.com.
Oh,
Definitely
cool.
check it out. And
Very cool.
basically, I had to just plug the movie in various social networking sites. I sent them the URL. I said, watch and vote for my movie. And then jump to March of 2017. The Cineplay Film Awards are in effect. And I find out that I'm nominated for an honorable mention award. And my lead actress in that movie, Lucy Lopez, got nominated for a Best Actress award for the movie as well at the awards. And unfortunately, she didn't win. But you know what? When you receive a nomination, your work is standing out.
Right.
That's always a good thing.
Right.
And I was one of 10 winners who won the honorable mention award at Cineplay.
That's awesome.
And I would also like to mention, in regards to Talanoxicatoroid, I just received word this week, and also right now before I showed up here, that Cineplay TV has Talanoxicatoroid on their network. They picked it up this week.
Good.
And it just got uploaded on the website right now. So definitely check it out, cineplaytv.com.
Yes. Cineplay.
Watch
TV.
Cineplay, CINEPLAY TV.com. Watch An Inconvenient Ruth in there, but most importantly, watch Talanoxicatoroid because it has a chance of winning upcoming awards at the 2018 Cineplay Film Awards in March, where I could win more awards. Alejita could win more awards.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
And my lead actor,
For those of you who know me out there,
yes, and my lead actor also, Nick Dre, as he likes to be called, he's gonna be he could be up for an actor award too, a best actor award. I want all of us to win awards.
You will. I feel it. I feel it. It's gonna happen.
And you know what? Maybe eventually that could happen with Candy. You might even win the best voice actor award.
We'll see. We'll see.
Would that be great?
Yeah. Hey guys, so we're running a little bit tight on time here, but I believe there was an actress who recently passed that you wanted to
Correct.
acknowledge.
Yeah, that's Ari.
Yes.
She played Molly.
Okay.
Yeah, Ari Busani. She plays a makeup artist. She didn't have any lines, but we actually filmed Tyler Natsikateroy at a sequence on the day we shot that because of her doing like a last minute fill-in. And I got to tell you, even with that short appearance that she made, she did a tremendous job. And you know what? She was saying she was like half sick on the day we shot that, and she, the trooper that she is, she came in and and you know she just went about. We just filmed the rest of our stuff for the rest of the day, and unfortunately, 1 week later, I found that she passed away. Yeah, it was a sad loss. She was a great person. Outside of being an actress in my movie, she was a very great person. She was always open to making you feel comfortable. She would not neglect you. I knew her for less than a year, but she brought pretty much more than a lifetime's worth of friendship to me. And believe me, I really mean that.
That's great.
If we can maybe have a little moment of silence for her, that'd really be great. And all of you, please join us for a moment of silence. Rest in peace, Ari.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Jay, Samuel, Ryan, independent filmmaker and award-winning filmmaker.
Hopefully more awards to come.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
You know, maybe I'll be the Spielberg Independent Award filmmaker, you know?
You got Robert Rodriguez look, so yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Alejita Jacobs, thanks so much for being here, guys.
You're welcome.
And we're going to have some film reviews in a moment.
I just got a message. I don't know if anyone knew because I was trapped in the studio today, but Jerry Lewis died today. Someone just told me.
Oh.
My friend Dan Romano just told me this. I don't know that it's 100% true because I'm hearing it on the air, but it's the first I heard about it. That I mean, he's up there, but it's still an end of an era, you know.
Yeah.
Wait, Jerry Lewis?
Jerry Lewis, yeah.
How was he, like 80?
He passed away?
That's what someone just told me. I mean, I didn't fact check it.
91.
91?
One thing I should point out before we wrap up. I should point out that Alejita, she's going to be this upcoming weekend going to Miami, Florida for the upcoming Industry Boost competition. And they're going to be screening Tyler Natsikateroy there, and she's going to be there in person to do a Q&A session.
That's right.
And I should also show this as well. I didn't get a chance to. Here's one of the original jars of Tyler Natsikateroy.
A prop from the film.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
Prop from Tyler Natsikateroy.
That's what
I drank about 30 of those.
Oh my God.
Was that the actual name from the I Love Lucy episode?
No, it was Vita Vita Vegemin, but you know, with me being the writer and the creative thinker, I want to put my spin on it.
Cool.
The title is actually a combination of Tylenol, intoxicated, and steroid.
Awesome.
Which pretty much outlines the script, actually, how we did it. You know, Tylenol representing the normal side of her character. Intoxicated is representing her behavior on the set, especially after what she does to Ari also. And steroid, pretty much the ending part of it. You know, it just basically covers that steps.
It's nothing but high energy.
And it's also a little something that you future writers out there can definitely take, which is that if you're trying to outline your story, you know, try to use it within like the title structure or even like the way how you make it, because you know what? Your writing doesn't have to be so complicated. You know, it could be a very simple thing. You might even come up with ideas on the spot. So, you know, don't give yourself like a brain fart or anything like that, you know. So, yeah, she's going to be in Miami next week to represent the movie.
Looking forward to it.
Cool.
And in 1 month from now, I am going to be in Joshua Tree, California, because that movie, along with An Inconvenient Ruth, is going to be seen at the Filmchilla Film Festival.
Wow.
And it's going to be a desert. It's going to be a desert camping drive-in type of experience, and I'm going to be there to see it. And according to the website, I have chances of possibly winning some awards for both of the movies. So I hope that'll come about. And you know, if you're in the Joshua Tree area on September 30th, then please come over, support the movie, and you know, the more the merrier. You know, it's going to be a starlight type of experience.
That's awesome. Guys, thanks so much again.
You're welcome.
All right, we're gonna have our film reviews with Carlos Lima. Come on up.
Come on down, Mr. Carlos.
Right.
Pleasure, guys.
Bye, Randy.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you guys. Pleasure. Thank
See
you.
you guys maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We got to record on your little.
That too, yes.
All
Cool. Next up, this is almost like the Evan Ginsberg show.
And we're back.
You guys are going to sit on there? Okay,
Yeah,
nice. Let's kill this. Just so it's not your line of sight.
Is that?
Yeah, that's better. I just didn't want to block your face. Okay,
Yeah.
Next up. By the way, you'd be happy to know that your the next show is late too.
Oh, good.
So you're good for an hour.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, unless you gotta.
No, I mean you'll let me know when.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're on.
Hey guys,
welcome back.
This will be our film review segment, and I want to welcome an old friend, Mr. Carlos Lima. How are you, sir?
How are you?
It's been a while. How are things?
Very good.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Good. So yeah, I basically sent you 2 movies, and the first one was a little strange. Lemon.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
It's weird. Yeah. I mean, weird. I wouldn't call it weird. I've seen weird.
I've seen weirder.
I've seen a lot weirder.
Yeah.
But this was very uncomfortable weird.
Okay.
Like very bad uncomfortable weird.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it was uncomfortable to watch, but I thought it had some fun moments in it. No?
No, not really. No. I wish I knew where to. I wish I knew. I know where to begin.
Go on.
My issue is the main character Isaac.
Yeah. Played by Brett Gelman. Yeah, I've seen him before. Yeah.
And I was excited just because I read the synopsis and I felt it was something that I could relate to personally.
Okay.
And then as I kept watching the film, and I watched Isaac and everyone around him, I said to myself, I don't really like him at all. Because I mean, we've seen characters like him just who have these sort of issues and say things that they shouldn't be saying at all. He says because what he says is very offensive, and
right.
I remember he was talking to Neil Long's character at a Chinese restaurant, and he tells her, "Oh, did you know that black hair originates from horse?" And I was like, "I can't believe he's saying this."
Yeah.
And
no filter.
No, and and when he's at his interests family barbecue, he outright says, "Yeah, I didn't know there were going to be accents here." And I was like, "What is?" And like there's, and it's like I said, like there have been people in that who have no proper social upbringing. You have people like Holden Caulfield, people like characters like Sheldon Cooper, Steve Carell's, Michael Scott. But with them, you find out the reason is, they've been bullied. They have these incidences in their life that prevent them from, being able to talk in a social group, or being able to talk, being able to communicate their emotions properly. And with Isaac, when he's breaking up with his girlfriend, he berates her, and then he apologizes, and then afterwards he apologizes, like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." And
by Judy Greer, who plays a blind woman.
Yeah, and he loves Michael Cera's character at first. And then
such an awkward scene.
And then he hates him, and then he writes a racial slur on his car.
Yeah. And
that scene where he's telling him, "I know how to throw a knife."
Yeah.
And then he's flicking the knife, and Mike.
Do you mind not doing that?
Yeah. And he's like, "Do you mind not doing that?" And it was very cringy and uncomfortable, and I don't know what to make sense of the film as a whole.
Yeah.
Because in the end, he kind of just walks away with just not caring.
Yeah.
And in the end, as you see the credits play through, his car breaks down, and he's just like, "Yeah, can you help me, please?" And then he's like, "Okay."
He has the same expression throughout the whole movie.
He's very blank.
No emotion.
No, we don't know why he is. We don't know why he is the way he is,
or how he even got the girl. How he has a job. He just exists.
And I don't. It makes me think of. Napoleon Dynamite in a way. Like Napoleon Dynamite is very much like that. He's he's very off-putting. Yeah, and he likes to be on. I guess he seems content to be solitary. Yeah, and in Lemon, when you see him crying because his ex-girlfriend's with another guy, he breaks down. You know, like I said, he breaks down. Yeah. I don't necessarily feel bad.
He holds out all this stuff and all these emotions. It just explodes at random moments.
Yeah, he cries twice. He cries when I think his brother is Finch, is it, or a friend's Finch?
I think did he cry at there's a wake, with all the family, the eccentric family members.
I don't think he cried. They were singing 1 Million Matzo Balls, and he kind of
but he seemed to be the only one not participating.
No, he's it was very cringy just to see that, and I wish I really knew what this film was about. Yeah. I mean, I know like some films just, you could have a film just to exist as a visual means. I talk about this movie a lot with friends, and it's this independent film called Kuso that I saw last month.
Is that animated, right?
No, it was no, it's not an animated film at all. No.
Kuso and the Strings.
No. That's something entirely
that's
different.
Kuso, though.
Yeah, it's a different Kuso. It was it's a film directed by one of my favorite musicians called Flying Lotus, and he made a lot of headlines in Sundance because reportedly people were walking away in disgust. And he's 21 people only walked away. So when I saw it myself, it was like, oh my God. But I loved it. It was I loved it. He was so passionate about what he was doing, and I mean, I get the general gist of it. Each story was self-contained, but yet this was definitely a film where it exists just to be seen. Right. And I was very happy with that. Okay. I was very happy just watching, just getting, giving the director what he wanted and that was to feel disgusted and laugh at certain points during the film. And here with Lemon, I really sometimes I had to sit. Sometimes I was like, God, let it be over, please.
You're questioning the artistic.
I really wish I knew what it was about.
I don't know. Like you said, it does have a strong Napoleon Dynamite type feel to it. It'll probably get a cult following, not a huge one.
Yeah,
but I think it will.
Like down the road, and it's getting critical praise. Like I was just on Instagram earlier. Abby Jacobson from Broad City was promoting his thing, like, oh, come watch this wonderful film. Like there was going to be, she liked it. There was going to be a Q&A. I was like, no, please no.
That's today, right? Or yesterday?
I don't remember when. It might have been yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Nothing towards Abby Jacobson because I love her in Broad. Yeah, I like her too. I love her in Broad City. She's definitely. It's like Alana's great, but let's not. I love Alana as well. I love Alana Glazer.
If you like Abby Jacobs, she was in this movie, another one with Michael Cera actually that we reviewed on the show a few weeks ago, called Person to Person.
Oh, I never heard of it.
Basically, it's like a Woody Allen style. All these New Yorkers had their lives interconnected. It was really good. She was in it.
Oh, I'll look at. I'm talking about Michael Cera.
A lot better than this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, talking about Michael Cera, he was actually the only convincing part.
Yeah.
Like the only guy that seems like, he was giving it his all,
yeah. Yeah, he gave a good performance.
I actually did like Michael Cera in there.
His hair was a little strange though.
Oh yeah, his
had like a part and like was puffy.
His Paul Simon hair.
Yeah. It was different. All right. So, did you see the second film?
Yes.
The ice cream truck, guys. This was a strange one as well. Not as strange. It's a horror film. A woman who moves back to her old hometown, and basically she has annoying neighbors. There's this 18-year-old kid who has a crush on her, and then there's this ice cream guy who drives around the neighborhood and who kills people. What did you think of this one, Carlos?
How do we know he's 18?
Oh, well, they say it in the movie.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
So he's legal.
Yeah, he's legal, and no spoilers, but yeah, he's
okay. Yeah, This was another one I didn't know what to make of. This was definitely another film. And I know you said no spoilers, but
that's fine.
I mean, no, I don't want to give too much away.
Okay, not too much of a spoiler.
But there is this sort of, as I watched, this is another one of those films that made me feel very, very uncomfortable. It made me feel very uncomfortable.
But not as much as Lemon, right?
More.
A
lot more.
Oh wow.
A lot more. Not because we have the psychotic ice cream killer just killing people randomly for no reason. I mean, I don't want to give. I mean, I don't want to give. Here's what I'll say. What really made me uncomfortable was the implied romance between a recent high school graduate and an older married woman.
Right.
And
it
did. Okay. It bothered me a lot because it's the director just wants us to accept that this is normal, and I was really taken aback by it. You know, here's an older woman and here's a younger guy.
Not old, maybe early mid-30s, an 18-year-old.
Oh no, he's not really old. He's not really that young. Yeah. I know he's not really that young.
The actor,
but like just that implication that she's struggling with herself. Should she? Should she not? Right. You know, she wants to, but she can't because she's married and she has kids. And I'm not. And again, this is another one of those films where I'm not entirely sure what it's about. What's the focus? What's the focus? Is suburbia really that scary? Is suburban is living a suburban life boring?
Done very well.
Yeah, it wasn't done. It wasn't done very well.
No.
It seems to invoke a very 70s B film type vibe.
Yeah,
and I remember I saw a horror film last year called The Devil's House.
Okay.
That was a great movie. That one I really liked a lot. It looks like a 70s film.
Oh yeah.
It was looks really grainy.
Okay.
And that would make me feel frightened. And that was a whole different film. That was a whole different. A woman was asked to babysit a child, and then eventually the person who put up the wanted ad tells it's not really for a child, it's for an older woman, but I'll pay you more. I'm sorry that I lied. And then as the film unfolds, you realize it really isn't what it seems to be. And it was
Devil's House.
Yeah, that one made me feel uncomfortable. Like horror films are supposed to make you feel away.
Right.
But it was, I was more on the edge of my seat. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And the ice cream truck. It was very cringeworthy, and
so do you think it worked more as a horror film or more as like a drama?
It worked. It didn't work
either way.
It didn't work either. It didn't work either way.
Are you a horror buff?
Yeah, I really like. I really like a good horror film. I just bought The Devil's Backbone on Criterion Collection a couple weeks ago.
Cool. And
I'm a big Guillermo del Toro fan.
Nice.
And one of my best friends. We talk horror movies, and we talk about this sort of thing related to Guillermo del Toro, and I really like it. I haven't finished watching it, but I really like it. He's very passionate about horror films as a whole, and I remember the first film that I got lucky. I rented out Kronos, his first film, Kronos, at Blockbuster, and I really liked it, and. It was great about an old man who finds an antique golden bug that you could latch onto yourself, and you de-age. He eventually,
like a Benjamin Button thing?
Yeah. It's sort of a Benjamin same thing. Reverse aging, but it comes at a price. It's very vampiric. He has to kill people and drink their blood to maintain their youth.
Right.
And he sees at what cost it would be because he has a granddaughter. So he looks at his I can't do this anymore. So
Satan's backbone.
Devil's backbone.
Devil's backbone.
With the Devil's Backbone, it's more about a young boy who who inhabits an orphanage, and this other boy sees him, and he doesn't understand why this little boy is there. And neither do I. I haven't finished it, but it's always along the lines of it's always more. It's much more of. It's always much more than what it seems. If anyone has seen Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth, that's another good way.
He did the Hellboys as well, right?
And not so much. Well, he did Hellboys,
right.
But Pan's Labyrinth, he considers a spiritual successor, and he calls The Devil's Backbone a very personal film to him. There is something that means there. There's this emotional value to it that it means a lot to him, and I can see that. There's with The Devil's Backbone, the boys, they all don't get along at first, but then as the film progresses, they start trading comic books. One talks about I want to be a comic book artist, I want to be, and the other kid's like, well, I could be a writer, and now we should talk about the ice cream truck. It's nothing.
It's just hollow.
It's very.
It's superficial. There's nothing. There's no depth to it. Like I think a good horror movie should have something to say, not just have splatter blood all over the walls.
That's not even that violent either.
Yeah.
And
I would have liked to have seen more of the backstory of the ice cream man.
Like why he is the way he is.
Yeah. Like what the hell happened to this guy?
Why? Like he's young and he always calls everybody
young lady,
young man. Like,
can I get you a cold treat, young?
And it's very yeah.
It was weird.
It was. I mean, if anybody is in the mood for a really great horror film, I highly recommend Sleepy Hollow. Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
Oh my God, yes. That was rated R.
Yeah.
A lot of Tim Burton films are not rated R, so it was really bloody.
Yeah.
And crazy.
But it was great. It worked. It was it was very.
I think it won an Oscar too for best art direction. So
yeah. It looks
the whole visual look of it just amazing.
And it was like the whole visual look of it.
Danny Elfman's music.
Yeah. Johnny Depp was great and really
before he became a cartoon character like pirate.
Yeah.
Mad Hatter. That was like when he had. That was the last few years where he was a decent actor, I'd say.
I'd say that he gets. I wouldn't call that his last role. I think if anything, when he takes on a role like Jack Sparrow, he made
that's cringeworthy for me.
He made that his own. I really liked it. He made that he made that his own thing. It was. It's sometimes you can't always, you can't always play it straight. I guess like you gotta, he knew how to work with it. Like he looks like he received flack from Disney executives because he looked like a drag queen and he acted very effeminate. But it worked for him because he made this the mascara. He made it work. And it was, and I loved it, and I can't remember anything else that he was weird in Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That was totally miscast. I think that should have been either Michael Keaton or Christopher Walken. That's my opinion. Walken as in the Chocolate Factory, that'd be crazy.
He was definitely great in what's that one? Oh my God!
Finding Neverland.
No, I wasn't thinking Finding Neverland. I was thinking, what's that one film that he did with Tim Burton that was? That was extreme. It was a musical. It was a musical, and it was extremely gory.
Oh, Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, there he goes.
That was good too.
He
also bloody.
It was very gratuitous, gratuitously violent, but it was great. Yeah, but it was great, and Johnny Depp was really great, and they're very stoic.
True. But
it worked because he's just very depressed.
I was watching TV the other night, and it was Dark Shadows came on.
I haven't seen that one.
Tim Burton. Basically, it's based off of a '70s vampire soap opera.
Yeah.
And they turned it into this live action.
It's
comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of makeup, a wig. Like, come on, Johnny, do something real. From he hasn't been like a human being in like the last 5 years or so. I can't think of it.
Have you seen Transcendent? That one where
that was a sci-fi thriller.
Where someone shoots him and then they install his brain into a computer.
How was that? that?
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it looks interesting. Sounds interesting though.
And what was another film that Johnny Depp did that I really like? Rango.
Oh,
that was
animated.
But still, Mark Hamill said, voice acting it's acting. They may not see you, but and
true.
You're still performing,
right?
And he was really great in there. You can tell that he was having a lot of fun.
And that was from the director of the first Pirates.
The first 3 Pirates films,
yeah. That's like the only decent one. The first 2 were pretty good.
And then they became just really long.
Yeah, they're up to what, number 5 now?
Yeah,
5? Jeez.
Yeah, 5, and
it's just the same story, just
regurgitating. It speaks a lot about the Hollywood business and about how it's mostly if the franchise is working, right, just keep cranking it out.
That's what Hollywood is. Just keep doing it.
Or if it doesn't work, reboot it, and then let's just do it again.
Right. That's why my show's Under the Radar. We talk about smaller movies that are under the radar,
which are great. Which is great. Yeah,
that's what I'm all about. Like those are the real movies. That's real storytelling and acting.
Hey, maybe next time I come back, we should talk about Kuso. Maybe you should watch Kuso.
Yeah. Maybe you lend me the Criterion. Is that the Criterion?
No, Kuso is the one with Flying Lotus.
Okay, well, yeah, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it was playing over the weekend at Nighthawk Cinema.
Nice.
And I bought it on.
I love that place. It's like my second home.
It's great. They always have a great selection of films appearing, and I always hope that one night they'll have an Alejandro Jodorowsky night, which he's a very.
Oh yeah, he just came out with Endless Poetry, right?
The Dance of Reality, yeah, I think I
didn't see it yet, but
no, very controversial filmmaker. Yeah, but he's a very controversial filmmaker as a whole, and his films are. I just love how he takes chances and they work. One of the first films that I watched from him was Santa Sangre, and it was a trip. It was great. I love anything that takes a chance.
Yeah.
And even if I don't like it, there's always maybe there's some merits in it that I might like. Unfortunately for Lemon and the ice cream truck,
Lemon.
That's not the case. That was not the case at all.
So other than Lemon, what have you seen anything in theaters lately that's grabbed you? It's been I did see War. Actually, I did. I saw War for Planet of the Apes, which I thought was really great. Yeah, I heard good things.
This
is the third one, right?
This is the third one, yeah. That one was really great. I mean, Andy Serkis is,
he's the king of the
motion capture, right? And he's transcending it into an art.
That's great.
Which is, it's a lot of money, because there's, they're performing these, they're. As I said, they're making these
perform it, but they wear a special suit that has all these sensors.
Yeah,
it's Avatar, how they filmed Avatar.
Exactly, but there's this very human touch to it.
Yeah,
when you see them,
it's Andy Serkis's facial expression, right?
Yeah,
that's what does it.
And then not only their movements, it just feels like they're there.
That's cool, and
it's always great. And and for me personally, I always encourage films to be more animated, literally animated.
Yeah.
And the last animated film I saw was The Red Turtle, which I really liked a lot. It was a co-production between Studio Ghibli, which I'm a big fan of, owned by renowned Japanese director Hayao Miyazaki.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
And I think by an Italian, it was an Italian co-production, but it was beautiful. It was, and I felt very nervous at times, just because I don't want to spoil. There were moments in the film where I was like, oh my god, and it was great. I highly recommend that film.
Cool. So I don't know if I asked everybody this on this show. Top 3 favorite movies of all time.
That's a hard one. Pan's Labyrinth is one. Nice. That's definitely one of my favorites because I'm a big Guillermo del Toro fan. There's always this one film that I'll put Sleepy Hollow on there.
Oh, great!
Sleepy Hollow is a great one.
Side note: Mars Attacks was on the other night on TV. If you like zany Tim Burton, that's where you go.
I Goodfellas. I mean,
yes.
you know, I mean, I'm not ashamed to. I know everyone says it's cliche, but I'm not.
I think Godfather is cliche. Goodfellas.
No. I'm talking about, like, when anyone says, "Oh, it's so cliche to say Goodfellas," no, I don't think that, because it made, you know, it made such a lasting impact.
Right.
You know, I really like. I never ever get bored of watching that movie at all. I can sit through it in one sitting.
Yeah.
And it's
one of those movies, like, it's on TV, you got to stay and finish it, in my opinion.
Oh, really? I can never watch it on TV just because of commercial breaks. That's just I can't.
Plus, yeah, it's not as violent.
It's not. It's edited, but
True.
when you watch it on, you know, on DVD or Blu-ray, it's just so captivating, because Martin Scorsese really is, you know, without a doubt, like, he's one of the best directors. Like, he's one of my favorites. He's not number one, but I mean,
he's up there.
But he's up there, and everything, you know, he demands a lot. He's a very demanding director, and you know, there's always seems to be this belief that you get, you know, the more demanding directors are obviously the best.
Right.
You get more out of it when you get something out of your performances. Okay. But he really got something out of it. Right. But he got something out of it with Goodfellas.
So good.
And it's a classic. A classic. You know, they say classics never go out of style.
True. All right. Well, final question. What are you looking forward to that's coming out soon?
Black Panther is the one thing I'm really looking forward to.
Chadwick Boseman.
Because sometimes I'm from a political standpoint, you know, I saw Spider-Man: Homecoming, and then when I walked out, I said to myself, "This is completely boring," because it's just an oversaturation.
Really?
Of comic book movie. I mean, how many more times do we need to see Spider-Man? I mean, Peter Parker. How many more times do we need to see the Peter Parker story?
Right.
You know, we have Miles. We have Miles Morales, the Black Spider-Man. He exists. Why couldn't we use him? And I know, like, oh well, he's not known, and you know,
right.
And you gotta think of it from a banking standpoint. But I don't want to. I don't want to hear that. I'm tired.
Well, they didn't tell the Uncle Ben dying story.
I know that.
They kind of jumped in a little bit.
They jumped in a little bit.
I respected them for that.
And then on the other hand, I did like how multi-diverse it is. Yeah. Like, that's the truth of it. If you're born in Queens, you'll know for a fact. Yeah. You will see black people. By the way, you will see black people. You will see Asian people. You'll see a multitude of people. That's just how it works. That's the reality of it. It's always been. You know, and it's always been that way. And it's, you know, I'm glad, I mean, better late than never. I'm glad that now that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a diverse Queens. Yeah. And, you know, going back to because Black Panther is coming out next year, I'm glad that, you know, that's very diverse. We have a predominantly black cast. It looks, and judging by the trailer, it looks more like a very natural looking action film. And I say that because I was talking to one of my best friends, and he woke me up about how comic book movies are very dependent on flashy editing. Yeah. And I was watching, I was like, oh wow, that's a wake up call. And I can't. And since then, I haven't been able to watch a comic book movie that way, because it just.
Well, they're flashy because they want to attract kids.
I know that.
Kids are like easily entertained.
No, yeah, definitely
stimulated.
But when, you know, I mean, I'm paying $14 for a movie. I like to be able to watch something that's okay. This feels great. Right. I was watching the earlier Matrix films, and that, like, you can see that they put in the work. Right. You can tell. I mean, I'm pretty sure why they're dependent on fleshianity, just to protect everyone, just to make sure nobody gets hurt. You know, I know people get hurt, but you know, I'm excited for Black Panther. That's the one film I'm actually excited. And, you know, you have Thor Ragnarok and Justice League, and any independent film that comes out, I'm generally excited for.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fall, I think.
Yeah.
Carlos, thank you so much.
I really appreciate having you. I'm looking forward to doing. I would love to do this again.
Yeah. Hey, do you have anything to plug? Website, Facebook, or anything?
Not really.
Okay.
I do have a Twitter.
Hey, Twitter.
I do have, my Twitter is Carlos Lima Lopez at Fuerza de Libre.
Nice.
I like to post a lot of music that I love to listen to. I'm mostly a music guy. I post a lot of soul, funk, R&B music on there, a lot of avant jazz, and I follow a controversial figure by the name of Zach Fox. I love him because he's funny and he's irreverent, and he gets the ball going. He gets the conversation going.
Zach, what was it?
Zach Fox.
Zach Fox.
Please look up Zach Fox.
Is that with a CH or the K?
With an H.
With an H.
Zach Fox. Please look up Zach. You're guaranteed to laugh. I guarantee you that because he's funny. He's great, and I've met him, and he's such a nice guy. Cool. Super, and he's in Kuso. He's an actor in Kuso.
Oh, there you go.
So I highly recommend that people watch Kuso. It's on iTunes for $10. You can't go wrong.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, that about does it for Under the Radar. Thanks so much for watching. I'm your host, Randy Younger. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.